See how this goes. We have power today, so that's one thing. So we're going to go through, again, I'm going to have us moving, um, but with awareness about this space again. So can we go into this space again where we touch, and first let's go to the breastbone and right above it. Right, Diego? Right above the breastbone, find the soft spot right there, the sternal notch. So you have a landmark there. And then you can walk out at least one of the collarbones. Find the collarbone and start walking out. And can you go just to the top side of it? Go up above that collarbone and walk all the way out, feeling the space right above it. And walk all the way out till you arrive at the flat kind of plateau. This flat plateau is actually part of the shoulder blade. So there's that flat plateau. And then if what we do is we start to go backwards from that flat plateau, and you find you're right on the what's called the spine of your scapula, the spine of your shoulder blade. And go ahead and walk across it. Okay, and feel the space between, if you go, so there's the spine of the scapula, and we can walk all the way to where we get to the end of that. But let's bring some awareness to the space above the spine of the scapula. So let's walk back right above the spine of the scapula, back out to that plateau. So feel again, you walk onto your collarbone and you go right above the collarbone in that little corner. So see the collarbone and the spine of the scapula come in, and they meet up at that plateau. But right above it, in between, feel that space in between. That may feel hard to you, but get in there, because it gets hard because we have a lot of tension in there. But we're gonna work again, we were calling these like the corners. And so I want to know where those are, those corners. They're hard to find, especially in yoga. They're hard to locate with our felt sense. And then just kind of getting a sense of this space between top of the collarbone and the top of that scapular spine. Feel all that space there? And if you kind of walk back and you go, wow, you come back medial to the front, and you go, how much space is there between the top of my collarbone and the front of my throat? And then we can walk back around. We can go back out the top of the collarbone. We can go back along the spine of the scapula, and we find the upper back right there between the base of the neck, C7, and about T2, the second thoracic. So there's that space. Oh, that upper back space. And we know we have one on the other side. And we know that oftentimes there's a difference between the two sides for us. So we'll work some with that territory, okay? And kind of, you touched one side, you might want to just get a sense of the other, just so your awareness is more easily able to find. Okay. So there's that. And now we're going to take our awareness and drop in. So we'll rest the hands on the legs or wherever's comfortable in your lap. Close your eyes. Relaxing your outer body. Relaxing the sleeve of your body. And you might go ahead and drop the awareness to that space, the sternal notch that you touched before. And when you feel ready, let's go ahead, connect to your breath. So you can be drawing the breath in and out. And then when you're ready, begin to practice your Ujjayi. And if you draw the awareness to that sternal notch and imagine that the inhale is coming in through that notch, and the exhale as well. Can you imagine the breath moving from that place? So this is the Ujjayi. You'll hear the sound of your breath. As you practice your Ujjayi, as you practice bringing the breath as if you could breathe it in through that soft spot right above the breastbone. Can you also imagine the breath as it leads right there to the heart space? So just noticing as you keep practicing and working with your Ujjayi, the breath coming in, connecting to the space of the heart, and the breath moving out. This is David White, called Time Left Alone. Tired of land, we open ourselves to oceans. Tired of time, we give back all that we've taken. Tired of ourselves, we open ourselves to ourselves at last. Sensing the waves and great abyss of the sea beyond, the ocean stretching on sand, and the long view on the still sea that leads to another life. And you can notice as you work with your Ujjayi, you feel that relationship and connection like the tide that rises. And the exhale, just like the wave goes back out again. So we're making the breath smooth. And then at the bottom of the next exhale, go ahead and release any control on your breath. Bring your hands into Anjali Mudra. And we'll chant the sound of Om and sing Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu in that spirit of may all beings in all realms find peace and happiness. So taking a deep inhale. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. And then with your next exhale, bowing your head towards your heart. And then you can release your hands and lift your gaze. All right. So to come into our practice, we're going to come to all fours. Now you're welcome. If you need padding under your knees, then go ahead and take a blanket and add padding. Some of you might want padding just to be more of a cushion. And then we're going to meet up on all fours. And then when you're ready, with your exhale, press yourself into cat pose. And the inhale, you're going to flow up into cow pose. The exhale, take your time. Feel the tone in the belly as you go to cat. Feel the connection. And again, as you go to cow pose. And bringing the felt sense above the collarbones, especially the ones closest to the midline of your body, and lifting above those collarbones. And as you exhale from the mid upper back all the way across those spines of the scapula, let that space roll forward. Inhaling in cow, beginning that lift above those collarbones. And the exhale, that space that was above the collarbones, you release it forward and you let the space at the base of the neck all the way down to that mid back come forward. One more cow pose. Coming to cat. And taking this cat towards child's pose. We're going to keep the arms out. And we're going to inhale. We're going to come back to cat. And we get partway to cat and we're going to go back to cow. The exhale, we go cat and begin to take the pelvis back. The inhale, can you keep a cat shape till you're almost to all fours and then begin to release and lift above the collarbones. There's cow. Back to cat, extending all the way back. The pelvis goes all the way back. There's the pause, and then the inhale, pulling yourself forward and beginning to lift above the collarbones. And then one more time, back. And this time we're going to walk the hands back. So you'll be sitting on the shins and knees and heels, if this is okay for you. Some of you, if this is uncomfortable, you could sit up on a block like Virasana. I want to do some more movement. This movement is going to be, again, a connection between the top of the collarbones and the back, but also I want you to bring in some abdominal tone with this, so that the ability to lift yourself up to standing on the knees, so again, if you need padding, add it, is coming not from pushing like that, but actually from lifting the pubic bone up towards the lower ribs. Then you rise all the way up. And so then you're gonna lift again, pubic bone towards ribs, you come down. So it'll be, you're gonna lift above the collarbones, and on the exhale, you take that cat shape to come back. There's the tone in the belly. It's pretty powerful because there's actually a springiness that you're using as you travel. You go back, my back is rounded, I feel tone in my abdominals, and now I'm pulling my pubic bone towards my lower ribs to give me the lift up. And the exhale, I'm coming down. So I'm actually using, even here, I feel the belly. I could really, I wish if I was able, let me see, I'm gonna pick up, so you feel your belly go deep in and back, that springiness in the fascial tissue. And then back, lowering yourself slowly back, use the tone in the belly, maybe you barely touch, and boom, you rise back up again. Can you do about 4 more? Ujjayi too is really helpful. I'm not actually fully resting all the way when I come back down because I'm using the power and springiness. All right, I'm coming slowly back. And one more, lifting all the way up. Good. Lifting above the collarbones. And now I'm going to come back to I'm going to sit myself back down. I'm going to grab one of my blankets because we have not opened up the backs of the calves. So I'm going to put a blanket back there to go underneath my heels. We're going to take downward facing dog. If you want to put your hands on blocks, you're welcome to do that. So we're in all fours, taking a deep inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to take the hips up and back, downward facing dog. And then I'm going to inhale up on the balls of the feet. Feel the tone in the belly, almost I'm just going like part way towards plank. And then I'm going to exhale and slowly release back. My heels finding however many blankets I need. Once more, inhale, I push. And I lift my pubic bone towards my lower ribs, going part way and then back. Can we do 2 more? There's downward dog. Exhale, push into the feet, feel that deep belly, and back. Actively reaching forward toward the hands. And one more time, with your exhale, you push into the balls of the feet. Lift the pubic bone towards the lower rib cage. Lower rib cage towards the pubic bone. And back to downward dog. This time, just being in downward dog, or you could be in puppy pose. But if I'm in downward dog, I'm actually actively reaching those corners. Remember the corners between the collarbone and the spine of the scapula? Lengthen those forward towards the hands. And this time we're going to be going all the way to plank, but we're going to use the full exhale to travel there. So you find your inhale, and then the exhale,
push into the feet. Lift your pubic bone towards your lower front ribs so you feel the belly. Now you're shifting forward. There's your plank. And then you're going to slowly inhale, push back. The full length of the inhale, steadiness through the arms. Your next exhale, again, forward to plank. So you feel the low belly, mid belly, the upper abs, then you're right in plank, and then you push back on the inhale, downward facing dog. Exhale forward. Inhale back, steady in the arms. Can you find the midline of your body and stay steady on that midline? One more time, back, downward dog. And then we're going to inhale, step forward to Uttanasana. So if you need blocks for Uttanasana, please, you could get your blocks, you could bring them forward. Releasing in Uttanasana. Releasing the space from the throat to the top of the sternum towards the heart. Allowing that space at the upper back to come down and forward, the head can release. We're going to inhale halfway up. When we go halfway up, can we lift above those collarbones? Exhale, bow. Inhale, we're coming all the way up. Arms overhead. Exhale, hands back in front of your heart. And then let's let the arms dangle at your sides for a moment. And if you might even close your eyes so that your attention can drop in. And can you drop into feeling that space between the tops of the collarbones as it comes up, like there's a midpoint that would go from the the sides of the neck all the way out to the flat spot at the top of the shoulders. And then also notice the space at the back from the base of the neck to the top of those shoulder blades. Can you feel when the arms are dangling? How is that front to back balance? And then if we take the hands and you take the palms and point them forward, can you lift above the collarbones? So now the front space can roll back. And we're going to inhale, lift both arms. We might lift the gaze if it's okay. We're reaching all the way up to the hands. And then we're going to exhale, we're going to bring the hands back down in front of the heart. Release the arms, inhale, lift your arms. So you lift the arms up, the palms are facing each other. And remember those little corners, those outer corners, what happens when you reach them all the way to the hands? When you reach those outer corners to the hands, did you find the arms go up, higher? Did you find your hands getting closer together? Can you roll right above the collarbones again? There's a little bit of a back bend, and then we're going to exhale, take the arms wide. We're going to reach palms out, fingernails draw back. So again, if we just take the palms, we roll them forward. Start lifting above the collarbones, rolling, releasing that up towards the throat. Keep going. And then exhale, release. So now for this next part, we're going to be coming up on the balls of the feet. So you're going to be going, here we go. We're going to inhale up on the balls of the feet, lift the arms all the way up. And then exhale slowly, lowering the arms and lowering the heels. And again, inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Take your time. The inhale up, all the way up on the balls of the feet. The exhale, releasing, slowly lowering the heels and the arms. And again. Actually, 1 more. Can I also lift above the collarbones, especially towards the midline? And then exhale, releasing down. Let's bring the feet closer together, if it's okay with the shape of your legs. And we're going to inhale, take the arms straight ahead. And exhale to Utkatasana, chair pose. Inhale, straighten the legs. Exhale, release the arms wide. Inhale, lift the arms up. So when I lift my arms up, I can reach from those upper inner corners up towards my hand. I'm also going to lift right above my collarbones, that space towards my throat center. And then can I keep that as I come to chair pose? Inhale, straighten the legs again. Exhale, release the arms. And 1 more time. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, arms up. Reach all the way up. Lift above the collarbones towards the throat and come to chair pose. And then inhale, press down, reach up. And then exhale, release both arms. Take your right hand behind you to grab on towards your left kind of forearm or elbow. You can step the feet back to hip distance wide. And then can you arc your left ear over towards, like it's doing a little vaulting, over towards the opposite shoulder. So now on the your right arm, the one that's grasping, relax that upper inner corner. Relax and release it down. So that arm is in internal rotation. Allow it to do that. And then also at that back part, the back, remember above the scapular spine, out to that corner, let that also release forward. So that the inner one releases down and in, and the outer kind of comes out and forward over the top of that one. And then if we want to add a little stretch of the scalenes, let's take the gaze, if it's okay with you, and just lift your chin a little up so that you'll be feeling that space between the jaw and the collarbone. So I still have, it'd be your right arm, it's my left, in internal rotation. And I'm also lifting my chin a little. And then we'll release the back arm, bring the head back up. And then let's take the other hand behind. So the hand comes behind, grabs onto the opposite elbow or forearm. And then I'm going to take, it'll be your right ear and vault it up and over towards your right shoulder. As if there's something pouring out of your right ear. And then on the left arm, on that left inner corner, let it release down. When you do that, do you feel how the left arm comes into a little more internal rotation? And then if I allow the back corner of your left arm to even rise and become a little forward, you'll feel even more internal rotation of that left arm. And then I'm going to take my chin and lift it a little up to feel that space between the jaw and the collarbone on your left side. And then we'll go ahead and release that. We'll lift the head back up and bring up both arms down. Okay, so let's set up for side angle. So we'll take a wide stance, and you're going to go to your right. So I'm going to be your mirror. So you're going to go to the right. So you're going to turn your right foot out. I'm going to set a block. You can either use 1 or 2 blocks. All right, here we go. Let's inhale the arms out. And exhale to side angle pose. So opening through that skyward side of the rib cage, all the way to the crest of the pelvis. And then what happens when you go right above the collarbone, close to that sternal notch? What happens when you lift and roll that up towards the throat? What happens to the turn towards the sky? And then we're going to inhale, come up. And we're going to take our second side. So when you're ready, let's inhale the arms out. And exhale, Badakanasana. So as you come into side angle pose, and you could have the left hand down on a block. Opening through the side ribs there. Yeah, great, Ellie, great, great. And then what happens if you take the felt sense to right above the right collarbone, into that space between the right upper collarbone and the throat, and you lift and release it upward. What happens to the thoracic spine? Yeah, that's it, Lise. You got it. You got it. And you might, Dawn, what happens, Dawn? Turn your palm to face either towards the floor or behind you, the right one. Turn it to face. There you go. That's it. Now straighten the elbow again and really reach it out there. Let the right shoulder blade completely wrap forward around your rib cage. So it wraps forward, but you keep lifting from right above the right clavicle. Yeah. Great. That's it, Linda. You got it. Inhale, come on up. Good. Nice. And then we'll release the arms. And let's step the feet back together. Okay. Okay, sure, Lynn. We got it. Let's take our blocks. Let's bring them to the top of the mat. You're always welcome to ask questions as well. Okay. Always ask questions. All right. So we're coming to the top of the mat. Let's bring the hands into Anjali Mudra in front of the heart. And then we're going to release the arms. Inhale, lift the arms up, lifting those corners all the way towards the fingers. Lift right above the inner collarbones. So it's not the collarbones themselves, it's the space above it. And then with your next exhale, take chair pose. Inhale in your chair. I know there's a lot of strength here. Exhale now, bow forward. Hands find the blocks or ground. Your inhale, straighten the legs. Your exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana, letting that space above the collarbones turn in towards the heart, releasing at the back of the neck. Your next inhale, come halfway. So when you go halfway, lift through the front. And exhale, let's step the right foot back. So here we are, we're in a low lunge. We've got the hands on blocks or the floor. Balancing the weight in the hips. And then can we remember from earlier in class, this connection in the lower abdominals that we were using between, this isn't, you don't have to be as aggressive as you were in the earlier, but I want you to find a connection between the lower pubic bone all the way to the lower ribs, a wrapping of the transversus abdominis all the way around. Take the arms wide. Let's take the palms facing the ground. Airplane. And then let's inhale. Let's transition upright. And let's take the palms, rotate them skyward. So now you've got the arms out, palms rotated up to the sky. Can you lift right above those collarbones again, towards the throat? You'll find yourself coming into a little more of a back bend. And then if you like, lift the arms. Then inhale the arms back wide. Exhale back to airplane. Feel this change that happens. There's a balance that happens between that front and back, between the collarbones and the spine of the scapula. We'll bring the hands down. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, completely release, bow forward. Inhale, halfway. Lifting above the collarbones. Exhale, left foot back. So we're balancing the weight in the hips. Finding some tone in the belly so that we don't lift the torso up. We just take the arms out. Palms are towards the ground. And then your next inhale, you're going to lift above the collarbones. Lift the torso up. And then when you rotate the palms to the sky, right above the collarbones, lifting towards the throat. Inhale, maybe take the arms up or keep them wide. And your next inhale, arms out. The exhale to airplane. Release the hands. Inhale, step forward. And exhale, bow forward. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms up towards the sky. And exhale, hands onto the mudra. So I really want you to find this interplay between the space that runs above these collarbones all the way to the corners, and the space that goes from like between C7 and T2 all the way out from the spine along the tops of the spine of the shoulder blades to the corners, because the two do different things depending on what our arms are doing and what we're doing through the chest and upper back. All right, so here we go. We're going to go through a sun salutation. Let's bring hands into Anjali Mudra. And then we'll release the arms. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale to Utkatasana. Your next exhale, bow forward. The inhale, straighten the legs. The exhale, releasing forward. Let's inhale halfway. And exhale, you might be stepping back, downward facing dog. You could have hands on blocks or hands on the ground. But when I come into downward dog, or maybe I step to puppy pose if this is too much weight, then I'm going to reach whichever pose I've chosen. I'm going to reach those upper corners toward my hands. And take the space around the throat towards my rib cage. Inhale forward to plank pose. Remember how you transitioned before? So we want to be there for the full transition, steady. We could touch the knees lightly down. Bring the chest down. Slide the hands so that the wrists, you pull them back. And you're going to inhale to cobra. So you're lifting above the collarbones towards midline. But the outer edges, you let come forward a little bit. You're not pulling the shoulders back. Exhale, release. Inhale, all fours. Exhale, either puppy or downward dog. Inhaling here. And the next exhale, stepping forward. Inhaling halfway up. And exhale, folding forward. Inhale, rising. And exhaling, hands in front of the heart. Releasing the arms. All right, so here we go. We're going to inhale up on the balls of the feet. Take the arms up. Exhale, releasing the arms, releasing the heels, bowing all the way down, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway, lifting right at the midline. Exhale, downward dog or puppy. Actively reaching all the way to the hands, but the throat center goes back towards the rib cage. Inhale, lift the right leg up. So you come up on the ball of the feet and take the right leg up. And then with the next exhale, bringing that right knee into the chest, stepping forward. You can always get your blocks, pull them back. When you're ready, here we go, airplane. And then rising, rolling upward from above the collarbones. The arms can either stay wide, that's fine. Exhale back to airplane. And then we're going to step to plank. You can lightly touch the knees down. Exhale, bring the chest down. Connecting to your breath. And so closer towards the midline, just that middle third, lift that up towards the throat into cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, all fours. Exhale, downward dog or puppy. So come up on the balls of the feet. Inhale, lift the left leg up. And then exhale, bending that left knee, bringing it forward. Inhale, arms wide. Inhale, upright. Lifting above, releasing that space up. Maybe the arms. Inhale the arms out. And then here, as you bow halfway, so how do you find the middle of the road between that back of the spine of the scapula to the top of the shoulder, the front from the collarbone up? And then we release the hands down. Inhale, step forward. And exhale, bow. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. And then exhale, hands back in front of the heart. And releasing the arms. Okay. Yeah. All right, so now we're gonna head towards warrior one. So let's step the right leg back. So we're gonna step the right foot back. The back foot has a slight turnout, but the pelvis is pointing straight ahead. Okay. Let's inhale. Let's lift the arms. Let's reach from those corners all the way to the hands. And can we start to roll that space above the collarbones up as we bend the front knee? And then we'll inhale, straighten the front leg, take the arms wide, and exhale, step forward. Release the arms. And you're going to step your left leg back. So reaching the left foot back. Make sure it goes straight back, that it didn't cross the midline. Turning the left foot out slightly. Is your stance long enough? Sometimes what I find is I'm not taking a long enough stance. And the pelvis is pointing straight ahead. So both ASIS are pointing towards the top of the mat. All right, and then we're going to inhale, lift the arms up. Reach from those inner corners all the way to the hands. Reach, reach, reach. And Michael, more on the left. Yeah, the left corner. Yeah. Oh, there goes the right one. What about the left one? Oh, that's the right one. Isn't that funny? Good. Oh, great. Okay, so we take another deep inhale. And as you lift from right above the collarbones, begin to bend the front knee. And you might, Linda, go longer, right? Take a little longer stance. Yeah. Lifting from right above those collarbones, all the way to the hands, inhaling deeply. And then the exhale, we're going to take the arms wide, straighten the front leg or whatever. Inhale, step forward. Hands come to Anjali Mudra. Nice. Very invigorating. Feel the movement in your body. Feel your heart rate. Release your arms. And just let the arms dangle. And you might even kind of notice, like, where's the weight in your feet right now? All right. And then we're going to come down to the ground. Let's come down and let's, in a moment, we're going to set up for bridge. But let me say one thing before we go to bridge pose. And we'll do a supported bridge. So let's just review here though, because in bridge pose, the arms are going to be a little back, right? Because we take the arms, we'll have them in a strap. So they're going to be like this, right? So the arms, let's grab a strap for a second and we'll do it. If you take your strap and go ahead and make a loop in it. So the loop is probably about the width of my arm bones, okay? And then you can do this either standing or kneeling, whatever you want to do, but you're going to bring your strap behind you and place the hands in the strap, the wrists. So this would be like we're going to do in bridge pose in a moment. So notice here, when we go ahead and we reach the arms back, so we reach the hands back, and when you do you feel the arms come into internal rotation? Yes. Yes, they do. Let them. Let the arms keep going into internal rotation. When you do, when you let those arms come into internal rotation, you'll find that the hands actually go a little farther behind you. So that, and then, so when that's happening, I'm letting that corner release forward and this back part come forward. The back corner comes forward. The inner corner actually softens in. So that front inner corner softens into my body and the back one broadens and I feel my hands reach back. And then I go to that space right above the collarbones and I lift it up. And I want to do all these things at the same time. All right, so let's let that go. And now we're going to set up for a supported bridge we're going to take a blanket if you've got one, fold it in half lengthwise. I'll use a different colored blanket, easier to see. So mine is folded in half lengthwise, and I'm going to put that on my mat if I've got a blanket. Yay. And then, we didn't get a chance to stretch the tops of the thighs, did we? We probably would benefit from that. So before we go to bridge, let's kneel on that blanket we just put down. And let's go ahead and step your left foot forward, right knee is on a blanket. And we're going to grab our strap that we just had. We're going to take the strap behind. This way we get to open the front of the down thigh. So we're releasing the front of the down thigh. And then we're going to let the arms, remember, they're internally rotating. Oh,
So the front inner corners resting back and in. And then what happens when I lift above the breastbone? I could go a little wider on my strap even, and that would feel really even more freedom. And release that. But I'm going to make my strap even a little bigger. Give myself enough space. Oops. So the loop, where is the loop? I'm going to make my loop a bigger size. That way my arms are going to really be able to reach back. And now I'm going to step the other foot forward. When I come into this lunge, let's remember, I'm going to let my knee travel forward of my ankle. So make sure the knee can go forward of the ankle. Hands are behind. Hands are in the strap. Palms are facing each other. And as I exhale, I'm going to try to release those upper inner quarters in. I'm going to let those back. There I go. I feel more ability to lift my arms, because then I let the back corners travel forward, and then I lift above the inner collarbones. So having more space in my strap really gave me more freedom. Great. And release. Do you have any questions about that? So now I'm going to take this to a supported bridge. I'm going to have my blocks. I'll use those. I'm going to have my strap. And I've got my blanket. So when I lie back now, I'm going to take my shoulders on the blanket, my head on the ground. This is just going to help me get more height in my upper back. Then I'm going to take, I know where my strap is, and I know where my loop is. Okay. Now I'm going to lift my pelvis and put one block under the pelvis at the lowest setting. And then depending on my body, I'm going to maybe take another block. So these are under the bony pelvis. C7, the base of my neck is on my blanket. The rest of my neck is free. And then between my blocks and my heels, I'm putting my hands in the strap, just like I did a moment ago. And then here we go again. So here I find, again, if I release the upper inner corners into my body, lift right above the breastbone, right above those collarbones, towards my throat. And if I want to, you have this option here. You could stay right here. Or you might take the legs, knees up and legs up. And I'm lifting above those collarbones towards the throat. So I have to allow that space to come up and almost merge or slide under the back space. All right, then I'm going to bend my knees, keep this lift in my chest, bring my feet down, hands out of the strap, take away one block if I have to, and then I'll walk towards my head and put my pelvis on my blanket to rest for a moment. All right. And then let's roll over to one side and use the arms to push ourselves up. Okay. So now let's take a twist. So I'll move my blocks out of the way. And to start, let's just take Marichyasana 3. I could sit on the blanket or I might just sit on the ground. And let's take a strap this time. So I'm going to take my loop, I'm going to make the loop smaller. And if I put it over, let's make your right leg be your straight leg. So the strap's going to go around that foot. And then I'm going to bend the other knee. So you've got the right leg straight, left knee bent. You're going to take the tail of the strap behind your straight leg and reach your left arm back to grab onto the strap. That means that the right hand can come forward to clasp on to the outer left knee. So you could use the hand or, the elbow, either one. And as you turn towards your left, can you lift right above that left inner collarbone? And then we'll release and come back to center. All right, we'll straighten that, switch legs. Take this strap over the body so it's going to come from the straight leg, it's coming on that side. So that means that on the bent knee side, that arm's reaching back to grab the strap. And then your left hand can come to the outer right knee. Or sometimes just into the crease of the elbow, either way. So the right arm is internally rotated, just like it was in bridge pose. And then I let that internally rotate, but right above the right collarbone, I'm going to lift that up towards my throat. And then let's release and turn back to center. All right, we'll take the strap off the foot. And just for a moment, let's take the legs just for a moment in Badakanasana. And we can just, we're going to bring the hands behind us in this Badakanasana. Hands behind. So my fingers are going to point towards the wall behind me. My thumbs are towards my body. And I'm just going to see about, again, lifting above the collarbones. And then exhale, let's release. Let's bring the knees forward. Let's hug the knees and let the body release forward. And then we're going to open one more time back out. Just for a moment to that same Badakanasana. And the exhale, lifting the knees. And if you can, you just kind of bring the body into a little shape. Like one linear, we would call it like a little rock. And then we're going to let that go. All right, so now, can we take a comfortable seat for a little pranayama? We're going to do a seated pranayama. So give yourself enough height that feels right. And also, know what Shavasana is going to look like. So have an idea in your head, like, okay, where do I want everything? Oh, maybe I need to put, more clothing on. How much height I need underneath my pelvis. And I might even know that when I come to Shavasana, I'm going to want, a blanket available to cover myself up. So I might want that handy. All right. So whatever is a comfortable shape for you for sitting for the next 3-4 minutes. All right, so when you're ready, I'm going to give myself a little more height here. When you're ready, though, go ahead and close your eyes, and can you drop back into the Ujjayi, remembering that if you imagine the breath coming in right above the breastbone in that notch, the inhale coming in there, linking to the heart. And as you're practicing this Ujjayi breathing, in a moment, you might notice, what is the length of the Ujjayi? What is the length of the inhale? And we're going to transition this into the box breathing. So making the length an achievable length so that there'll be the Ujjayi inhale. It could be, 4 or 6. Suspend the inhale for that same length. Exhaling for the same length. Suspend the exhale for the same length. And you keep going. And after your next exhale, Go ahead and release any control on the breath. And then you're welcome to bring yourself to Shavasana. Tired of land, we open ourselves to oceans. Tired of time, we give back all that we've taken. Tired of ourselves, we open ourselves to ourselves at last, sensing the waves in great abyss of the sea beyond, the ocean stretching on sand, and the long view on the still sea that leads to another life. And that opening can be the deepening of your breath. And then making a mindful transition from Shavasana over to one side, and using the arms to come back up to sitting. and joining your hands in front of your heart. Namaste. Thank you. Let me just stop this recording, and then if you have any questions or comments or whatever, you're welcome to ask them.